Inevitably, in every speech therapy session, there is a word that just kills us. And it's so hard for us to teach it to the children. So let's talk a little bit about how do we teach the word girl using the biter. Well, the first thing is we want to make sure that that child is able to make an sound every time they get to the biter position. And later on, once we get into conversation, I'm not so worried about what that lip position looks like, but I am worried about it early on. So be very aware that that child is using tongue tension. So when we get to the word girl, always the easiest way to teach the R sound is going to be to use the biter position. So again, we're going to treat this like a two-syllable word and have the child say g, and then say biter position, not say it, but do it, biter position, and then say earl. And if we can get g, earl, we can shape that into girl. But we're here to tell you that we know that that's not always going to be happening. What's going to happen now is if we've got a child who's consistent with that biter position and the sound, I'm going to say to the child, can you go to biter position? And it will look like this. And then I'm going to say, can you make this sound from that biter position? Grr. And if they can, we're already scoring. So then I'm going to say to that child, do that again, but this time when you're finished, just push out your tongue and touch here on the inside. Now that's not exactly where the tongue will be placed, but it's close enough for that child. And so the child will do this, girl. And if they can do that, that'll be wonderful. But if they can't, you hear something like girl. That means the child has dropped their tongue and they're dropping it back down to make that L sound. And so we have to be aware of what children are doing. And that was probably one of the most surprising experiences, was to find that there were sounds that I made and the child made. They sounded identical, but we were using different positions of the articulators. And so this is what I want you to do. I would like you to say just say the sound g. And just think about where your tongue tip is on that sound. For some people, the tongue tip is going to be touching that lower gum line. If you were there, then you are one of those people. But if you're not, let's try it. Put your tongue tip on the lower gum line and say g. Now I would like you to try it a different way. Go to the sh position and see if you can leave your tongue, the lateral edges of your tongue, where they are, and say g from there. Now I would like you to take the tongue blade and make contact with the palate and make a g from there. It looks like this, g, g. And the last one, I want you to leave your tongue on the bottom of your mouth, and you're going to elevate the back of your tongue and bring down your velum to make a g sound. You already know how to do that if you can pretend to drink water. G, 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 g. So if you have a student who's doing the g sound with their tongue flat on the bottom of their mouth and they're only elevating the tip for the L, that's the reason why you've got a child who's saying go. So we need to get that G sound elevated. And so that's what we're going to do, is to try to teach them to park their tongue lateral edges on the inside of the upper teeth, just like a sh position would be. Girl, and go from there.